So I'm sure by this stage, you've heard the name Andrea Kimi Antonelli. The Italian has been practically forced down our throats since #Bless smoked too much weed in February, and in fairness, that's for good reason. The Italian F4 Championship, the ADAC Formula 4 Championship, the Formula Regional Middle East Championship, the Formula Regional European Championship, the FIA Motorsport Games. These are all series Antonelli has emerged victorious in since only 2022. With a further win on debut in the Italian GT Sprint Championship, there's good reason why this guy is likely the most hotly tipped young driver potentially ever. Hell, coming into this year, Mercedes even decided that the crash-prone infidels in Formula 3 weren't enough of a challenge, promoting Kimi straight to Formula 2 for 2024 instead. We're but a handful of rounds into that series, yet the Italian is already being lined up for a seat in Formula 1. And that's despite Antonelli spending his time closer to the gravel traps than the podium so far. But that's okay, I hear you scream into the comment section. The lad's 17, in a brand new series, and on the world stage for the first time in his career. Give him time to grow and stop being a hating prick for once. Oh, and lay off the cakes, you fat fuck. Thing is, we're not talking about 2025 anymore. As if recent rumours are to be believed, this guy will be in a Formula 1 car 2 weeks from now. Going into the 2023 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, we saw Williams driver Logan Sargeant fighting for his job. A series of errors and a general lack of f***ing pace had put the American in hot water. He would end that Abu Dhabi race in 16th, only to be retained a week later for 2024, the team claiming they had faith in his services for another year. Cut to round 3 of this season, and that faith was apparently better placed on the sidelines. I'd like to say we all knew Australia FP1 was the beginning of the end for Logan Sargeant, but I think that actually started the moment he first set foot in a Williams simulator. Or is that too harsh? Let's be honest, if you expected the guy to last any longer than a semi-skimmed bottle of milk, you're just a f***ing idiot. But replacing the American for Antonelli here, I think James Vowles needs to recount his chromosomes. Rumours have been circulating long before the Miami Grand Prix that Logan would be out of the car by the following race in Imola. Said rumours were further fueled when the FIA let slip that a super license request had been made for Antonelli, although they failed to outline exactly which team it was for. Now, I'm only a little bit biased, so let me try and find some positives for chucking the 17-year-old in now. You get an Italian back on the grids just in time for an Italian Grand Prix, and Williams likely get one of Toto Wolff's special favours for fielding the youngster early. Both of those are very short-term advantages, however, and unless the team are just scrambling for cash behind the sofa to pay for Adrian Newey's wage in 2026, this is just setting up a recipe for disaster. Let's begin with the obvious. Throwing Kimi into a car mid-season with very, very limited F1 experience risks burning out the rookie quicker than most content creators once the Christmas ad revenue falls away. Few drivers can jump into this sport so early into their careers and succeed. Just ask anyone in the bins behind Milton Keynes if you don't believe me. On top of that, if we look at Kimi's performances in Formula 2, there have been flashes of that potential we all know is there, but it's pretty clear that he's not ready for the step up yet. While Kimi's impressive trophy cabinet is well known, what's not quite so common knowledge is his apparent magnetism to penalties. Now, you can argue that Max Verstappen was not too dissimilar at that age, but note how that aggression ended up being both a blessing and a curse in the early years of his Formula 1 career. Let's also remember that Williams have pretty much used up their repair budget already in the opening quarter of 2024. Placing Antonelli in the car for Imola, only to watch him treat Acqua Minerale like a straight line, would do no good for both team and driver. Let's be real for a second. Mercedes' goal here is to chuck Kimi in a Williams, then if he performs, burn down Carlos Sainz's tent outside Brackley and sign up the youngster for the Silver Arrows in 2025. That would solve a lot of their problems and keep the Antonelli camp happy. No doubt what happened with Piastri and Alpine a couple of years ago will be playing on Toto's mind a bit here. If they can't safely put Antonelli in a Merc for next season, they'd have to settle for someone on a 1-year contract, who pretty much knows they'll be cast aside once their prodigy has time to settle in at Williams. In that case, why not just bring Valtteri back? That's actually a really good idea, since Audi want nothing to do with the naked mullet man here anymore. You know, the more I think about that plan, the more I like it. Pretty much everybody wins. Antonelli gets to finish off his development in F2, safe in the knowledge he'll be on the grid for 2025. Williams then get a much more prepared driver at the start of next season. I mean, look how well that went for George Russell. So we're just left with one mystery then. Why was a super license request really put forward to the FIA ahead of this weekend in Miami? I don't think it was Williams who did this in the end. My theory would be instead it was in preparation for an FP1 outing with the Silver Arrows for Imola. We've already seen Kimi testing there in ground effect machinery over the last few weeks, so it makes sense to give him his first taste of the 2024 car at a track in his backyard and that he's already familiar with. Of course, there's a chance that I'm completely wrong. Logan Sargent will cross the line in Miami to be handed the P45 over the team radio, and the young Italian will make a historic debut for the blue outfit in a couple of weeks. That said, my takes have been surprisingly good so far this year, so it's more likely that Logan will just flip his car into Tamburello and I'll sit back and laugh at you lot. I'm curious to know what you all think about this situation though, so let me know down in the comments, and if you enjoyed, make sure you get subscribed for more content every Sunday in 2024. As always, a huge thank you to my patrons and channel members. They get these videos early, so if you'd like to support me further, then you can check out the links down in the description below. Now I'll of course be back for the Miami Grand Prix comedy review, which will be up either tonight or early Monday morning. But until then, have a good one.